Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where accountants come to learn all the ways you can grow your firm. When you are in doubt, we are here to help you out. If you're ready to learn, ready to grow your firm, then you are in the right place to sharpen those skills and increase your revenue. So welcome back. Hi, Denise. Thanks for being here. As always, we have a really great topic. But for those of you that think maybe you give away too much information for free in your firm or practice, or maybe you're not getting paid what you're worth all the time, and you answer people's questions for free sometimes, I don't know if that ever happens to you. You might be like a lot of the accountants that we've worked with, and you might feel like you're on a cash flow roller coaster ride, like the big one at Magic Mountain. And we are here to help you solve all of those problems. But today on the Abundant Accountant Podcast, we are talking about how to say no to clients who can't afford your accounting services. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but I think a lot of people might tell you that they just can't afford you, right, Denise? And then once people tell you that they can't afford you, then you just think, oh, well, maybe I need to negotiate my prices lower. Or maybe I need to reduce the amount I'm charging to clients, and all these other stories that we tell each other or tell ourselves, right, Denise?
Yep. Yeah, I don't want to lose business. Maybe I should take them. Maybe I should lower my prices, all that kind of crazy stuff, right?
Yeah, all that crazy stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Again, how to say no to clients who can't afford your accounting services, but also how to do it gracefully, so you're not doing it in a rude way. It's really nice. And maybe you can actually gain some more referrals from it as time goes on. But, a lot of our clients, Denise and I, have come to us asking us how to say no to a client who can't afford their accounting services. And maybe some of you have experienced that. And we get it. You have to know your value, and you shouldn't discount your services because it's actually a lose-lose situation for everybody. But then you still want to help everyone that meets your ideal client standards. But then what if they still tell you they can't afford your services? It's this dilemma, right? It's like this dilemma we always have back and forth. So today, Denise and I will share how to turn away clients who can't afford you, but in a way that's respectful and possibly even helpful. So that's what's on deck today. We're going to go through how to cut it off as soon as possible, so the client relationship just doesn't drag on and on and on. And there really is a difference between people who don't want to pay your price because you haven't expressed your value maybe well enough, or the people who are just a little too small for you. Maybe the size of the company is not big enough where they can't really actually afford your services. So as soon as you realize that a prospect really isn't a good fit, there's no really point to drag it on. So let's talk about some of the differences. And Denise and I really, we don't like to drag it on too long with clients who we know are not a good fit. Right, Denise? Because what's happened when we've done that before?
Well, for sure. And I'm sure all of you can relate to this. It's like an energy drain, because on the one hand, you want to help people, but then, if you take someone on that you really can't afford your services, and you discount your prices and stuff like that, you start resenting the work that you're doing. And it's just not good for the client. It's not good for you. And it just drains your energy.
So besides being an energy drainer or a time sucker, because your time is super valuable. So, there's been a few clients, like one in particular that I can think of right now. I mean, Mark, he really learned how to value his time because he realized that keeping the clients around, even that couldn't afford his services or were trying to negotiate him down on price, actually did him a disservice, did the client a disservice, because at the end of the day, it doesn't help anybody. If someone says that they can't afford you, and that really becomes the truth, because we also have to decipher, well, is that really true or is it really not true? right? Because some people tell you that, but that's just, what they say to everybody. They never change their answer. They never change their answer, right? So the first thing that Denise and I always do is, if it's just not feeling right, just, step number 1, cut it off as soon as possible. Step number 2, we like to say, be as transparent as possible, right? So we're really firm that you should not offer discounts because it's just not fair to you and it's not fair to other clients. If, there was one person in particular that I was talking to, and he had his CPA, and the CPA charged a certain amount per hour to do bookkeeping services for a monthly service for a small business. And then that CPA decided to send an invoice at double the rate that they had already had a written agreement on. And that stuff to me just really is not transparent, right? And it's not fair to you. It's not fair to your clients. And you're going to get a lot of bad, what I call rap, like a bad reputation. And clients will, like when a client's not happy, they're going to really express it. Right, Denise? How many times have you heard that? And I do believe, and Denise can share from her point of view, but as a consumer of services from CPAs and accountants, it actually has to shift with you within the industry because you've trained clients to ask these types of questions like, what do you charge? What's it going to cost? How much do you charge per hour? Oh, I have this, problem in my business. What are you going to charge me? So it really starts with us as the accounting professional to really be transparent and explain to clients like a fair price that you feel comfortable with, confident with, and that you're getting paid your value, but also that you're not going to change it on them. That just doesn't go over well. So we're going to talk about some like real life examples on how to be transparent, but respectfully turn down your potential clients too. So Denise, I know you have the first explanation on deck, but when was there a time like for you, because Denise, by the way, has worked with a lot of finance professionals and she was a financial planner. You all know, if you've gotten to know me in the last 1 or 2 episodes, that I did work at an accounting firm for like 3 years and I do have a degree in finance, but really it starts with you being able to respectfully turn away clients who are just not a good fit and being transparent about it. So what do you do, Denise?
Well, first of all, I think it's really important for you, and we talk about this a lot, right? For you as the accountant to know like what you want to get paid, like you're clear about your pricing, you're clear about what your services are that you want to do. And if somebody's not a fit, if somebody's, is asking you questions that are kind of out of your scope, instead of just like making it up or, trying to be helpful because it's not really your thing, it's better to really be transparent with them and say, you know what, that's not really my area of expertise. I'd be happy to refer you to somebody that I think would better serve you at this time. And it's so tempting to want to try to help someone in a way that really isn't in your scope. And then you're wasting time, researching, and then you start being resentful, all of that again, right? So it's really better to actually serve the person and let go of them instead of trying to say, well, if I help them with this, then maybe I can help them with something else, because that never really works. We've heard it over and over. Remember Lauren? Lauren was like giving all her information away for free, answering questions, and oh my gosh, and she stopped doing that.
Well, yeah, and Lauren and her CPA firm, she realized how much she was literally giving away for free, and it wasn't serving her or her clients because what she found out was that they would just come back the next year and not do anything that she had recommended for them to do. And the reason why is there was no like value attached to it, right? So when we give it away for free or, at a discount or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't do anyone any good. But Denise, because you're like the doctor queen, like if Denise had another career, I think she might be a doctor. Seriously. But she always says, well, Michelle, you know, when we explain all this to our accounting clients and CPAs, you know, well, Denise, if you were going to go see your doctor, would you get a discount? Would you ask them for a discount?
That would be weird, right? That would be really weird. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't say, hey, you know, like, I really appreciate that, you know, you're the best at surgery, at, you know, heart surgery, but do you think you could cut me a break? That would be weird. But that's in fact what your clients are asking you to do. You're the expert. You're the one who's gone to school. You're the one who knows the tax codes. You're the one that can save them a lot of money. You're the one that can do all these things. And it's like ridiculous, you know? So why would you give a discount? And people love certainty. They love professionalism. They respect that. And if you use what we call your doctor frame, right? And you stand your ground, you know what? They're going to go, something's different here.
Yeah. And I mean, and just to add to what Denise is saying, I was working with a woman named Barbara. And Barbara was mentioning how she couldn't afford the services. Okay. But what I knew was that it was really true for Barbara. And what Barbara really knew is that I believe I could help her, but she said she couldn't afford it. But when your clients like really can't afford it, you know, I referred her to one of my friends. He has a really great program. If you have some money issues, it might be something you want to look at, especially if you're an accounting professional and you want to have a 6-figure business, okay? Because we've worked with a lot of people that want a 6-figure business, but they don't have the mindset around actually generating that amount of revenue. It's almost like scary, right? You get your CPA license, or maybe you have a master's in tax. You have an undergraduate degree. You have a ton of student debt, but you still can't seem to charge maybe the prices that you really want. So I recommended to Barbara that she check out the Money Mind Academy to go get her mindset right about money, because actually until you deal with your mind, there's no way Barbara would ever be able to afford me or anybody else, right? It doesn't matter who she talks to. And sometimes with our clients, that actually might be what's going on, right? They think they can't afford you, but really they can, but actually they can't even generate more revenue in their business because they have a block. So something to think about. But, you know, for Barbara, I let her go. I was very transparent, which is the main point. That's step number 2 in this whole thing. Back to our, you know, different ways on how to let your clients go. So I was transparent and I referred her to a solution that will help her. It's up to her if she takes it and actually runs with it and see if it can help her out. But this is really what is best for you and your firm. And the more that you can, what we call sift and sort, like get through the really great clients and the not so great clients, just help them out in a really nice way, because Barbara might come back. Or like Lauren, some of those clients definitely probably came back to her. I haven't checked in with her in a while, so we probably should do that.
And, you know, Michelle, another example, I recently talked to somebody, a guy who clearly knew the value, because you have to remember we said sift and sort, right? Who clearly knew the value that was being offered. And because he was conditioned, like, to get a deal, like he has to get a deal on everything, you know?
A deal, I know, like the deal finders.
Yeah, the deal finders, right? And that's the price shoppers, the deal finders, you know? But, you know, he was more committed to the deal than the solution that I was offering that he knew was really of value, right? So I just was like, hey, look, you know, I really understand how you feel. I understand how you feel, and I don't negotiate my prices.
Right.
Because I know what it takes to provide that most excellent service for you and for the clients that I serve. And it wouldn't be fair to my other clients if, you know, it just wouldn't have any integrity. So I really appreciate how you feel. I'd love to work with you. And this is the price, you know, and if it's not, you know, if you don't feel that it's of value to you, then I'm happy to refer you to somebody that that would be more suited for the price that you're looking for.
Yeah. So from that step 2.5, Denise, we need to add on step number 2.5. It's have a good source of referrals to refer out your clients to when they aren't a good fit. So not only are you being transparent, but you're sharing with them an alternative solution to maybe helping them. Like with Barbara, it was my friend Sean's Money Mind Academy. For your guy, I mean, maybe not all deals are really a good deal, right? Like at the end of the day, you get what you pay for. I bought a lot of things, like materialistic things, on deals. And you know what? I don't keep them as long, or I get sick of them fast, or, whatever it may be. But when you pay a premium for something of a high value, you're going to value it at an equal amount, right? So if your clients are paying you top dollar, they're going to get you their documentation in time. How many of you hate chasing your clients for documentation because they don't give you anything on time when you need it? Every single accountant we've worked with, that's a big problem.
Yeah. And if they're nickel and diming you from the start, they're going to keep doing that. So you don't want to set up a relationship like that. Cut them loose as soon as you can. Cut them loose. It's worth your time.
Yeah.
And you're worth it.
You are worth it. And it's worth it to have an abundant lifestyle and an abundant firm, right? You want to be the abundant accountant. That is what starts to create that life of abundance, of having the revenue flowing in, having more time at home. Maybe, we work with Luke. He loves working with dentists because he envisions only working 4 days a week eventually. So there are ways to have this abundant life. So again, step number 2.5 is have some good referral sources to refer out when the clients aren't really a great fit. So let's go to the third one, Denise. And this is a really big, important step, which is don't burn the bridge. Your clients that you turn away now might actually be a good fit in the future. And we've had this happen a lot too, right? Timing sometimes is everything. Companies and budgets grow. A client might not be a good fit right now, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't possibly work with that person later. And what Denise and I always do is put them into a follow-up system, which I'm sure we're going to go into detail on another week on that, because we love the follow-up. I mean, following up is like where the gold mine begins. But, I have a scenario to share with each of you on, not burning a bridge. And we worked with a CPA. His name is Matt. I think Matt's in Colorado, if I recall, but Matt was only taking on clients who had $400,000 in net income. Anyone under $400,000 in net income was an automatic, you're not a good fit. But he actually saw the value in maybe taking on someone who met all his other criteria, but maybe just not on the net income side. And he took on a client, right, Denise? I think it was a net income of $300,000. And what happened was that client actually will be his ideal client in the future, but he was still able to service him right now. And he wasn't burning the bridge, but let's just say he wasn't able to service him right now. $300,000 in net income. He was super strict and said, no, only 400. He would put him in the follow-up system and maybe send him a really nice article, maybe help him on figuring out how to increase revenue, because really to increase the bottom line, he's either going to have to reduce his expenses, which I'm sure that client probably has a fixed overhead or something like that. So if there are ways that Matt could help this client and then check in with them maybe every 90 days, by putting them in the follow-up system, then you're not burning the bridge and you're helping him out, and he could be a good client at a later date. And this also fills up your pipeline of really great qualified clients. So it's a win-win-win for everybody, right, Denise?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and we have I think it was actually just recently we had Matt had a couple experiences, and he had another potential client, this young guy, really a great guy, really liked him and everything, but he's in a startup situation. And how many of you have people calling you, hey, can you set up my entity or things like that, right? And he's only really, they're at like about 75,000 in income, so it was way below his ideal client, but he really wanted to work with this guy. He felt like bad, like turning him down, but we got him to see that it's actually really being of service, because, it just wouldn't work for him to take him on right now, but he could still really serve him by pointing him in the right direction and then saying, hey, because what he could see the potential in him, that maybe in a year, or could take 2 years for him to get to the level where he really can provide high level services for him. So it was a good learning experience. And after we, taught him how to handle that, then he was able to do that gracefully and really feel good about himself and good about serving the client.
Yeah. But I think the big thing to think about, and with all the CPAs, accountants, enrolled agents that we've worked with, you've got to think about these people as people. And it's not just another transaction, because I think everyone we've worked with, it's very transactional, right? Like, you're all really, really busy. And when we're really, really busy, we forget that we're talking to other human beings who have feelings. And when we have feelings, we need to make sure that we respect and honor those. And that the fact that someone might not be a good fit right now, you have to think about, well, who do they know? Who do they know that might actually be a good client for you, that fits your ideal client right now? So I know we spoke about Luke and how he niched down to get to his niche. So what if some of these people that your client that you're about to turn down actually knows people that are perfect for you right now? And then in the future, they'll be the perfect client for you after you put them in a follow-up system and actually do the follow-up. Because what we've seen is a lot of people don't do that part, and it's so much opportunity for additional revenue. Like, imagine if you could increase your firm's revenue just by spending a certain amount of time every week doing follow-up, like maybe an hour a week. Who knows, right? What's possible? So that is step number 3. Let's go into step number 4. Oh, I was a little ahead of myself. Step number 4 is referring out. See, I have all of this like in the system in my head, and I was already ahead of myself. So introducing the potential clients to someone who might be a better fit. So Denise chatted a little bit about that. Refer out. Always have good referrals in your network with people who are willing to work for less than maybe you're willing to work for, right? If it's really about finding a deal, like Denise's example, maybe you have someone you refer out that loves to work with deal people. Like, they're all about the deal finders. To be honest, I can't stand the deal finders. That's not who I would love to work with every single day. Also, by doing this, it really helps promote really good sales karma. And Denise is going to share about that, because sales karma actually does exist. And as we like to say, always be about being of service to others, because when we're of service to others, it comes back to us 10 times over. So Denise, sales karma, how has that helped us in our business?
Oh my gosh, like, we are so all about service. So, what's naturally happens to us is, because we've passed on, we've passed good people on to others, then other people are inclined to refer back to us, our ideal client, as long as, like, they're clear who is our client. And because we have integrity, because we stand our ground and we are our word, people refer business to us on a regular basis. And that will happen to you all the time too, when you're doing the right thing, when you're standing in your integrity and you're, referring good, you're being a connector, right? Yes. and being a good referrer. And it doesn't always have to be the deal people. It could be like if you don't really enjoy, if you're not doing, if you're doing a certain part of accounting, like you specialize in bookkeeping, but you don't really do 1040s. Maybe you have somebody you refer 1040s to, and that person's going to refer bookkeeping to you because they don't do that. I mean, it kind of all works together, right?
It does. And this just happened to us the other day. I sent you an email. So John, he sent me an email. He said, Michelle, I'm at an accounting conference and there are a lot of CPAs here who need your help. Can you send me that email so I can forward it to a few people? And when you do really amazing work and your clients value you and you value them at an equal level, you're going to start to get some of those types of emails. So this literally just happened to us. And I define that as sales karma. And sales karma means that will help you increase your firm revenue, because I think every single person listening here wants to grow their firm, wants to grow their practice. You want to probably make a little more money and work a little bit less. If you put these strategies into place, it will happen. It's inevitable. It happens all the time. But how many of you actually spend an hour or two a week on following up? Or how many of you actually say no gracefully to our clients when they're just not a good fit, instead of wheeling and dealing and making the best deal for your clients? It doesn't work out very well. Denise, anything else on that as far as referring out or good sales karma that we're going to end it with for today?
Nothing that I could think of. Just like these are just golden nuggets. If you take, if you just take one thing away from today, that's just, standing your ground, maybe standing your ground and only accepting the people that really, really value your service. And you don't discount your prices. You're going to see it's going to make a big difference. You may think, oh my God, well, I'll have less people, but honestly, it'll keep the space open for the ones you really want to work with that are more than willing to pay you what you're worth.
Yes. Thank you so much, Denise. So a recap real quick. Step number 1, 2, really how to say no to clients who can't afford your accounting services. Okay. So here we go. Quick recap. Number 1, cut it off as soon as possible. Number 2, be transparent. As transparent and honest as you can possibly be. Number 3, do not burn any bridges, because they might be a fit later and they know a lot of people that might be your ideal client right now. Also, step number 2.5 or 3.5, I got a little confused. Add them into your follow-up system. So if a client isn't a good fit right now and you gracefully turn them away, put them in a follow-up system where you're checking in every maybe 90 days. And step number 4, refer out. So always have really great referrals in your network. And lastly, have amazing, extravagant sales karma, and always come from a place of service, because when you come from a place of service, you're going to get emails like Denise and I did from John. So the takeaway goal for today is don't feel bad about turning down clients who are a bad fit or maybe who can't afford you right now. If you feel bad, that's actually doing a disservice to yourself and to them. Thank you so much for joining Denise and I as we chatted about really how to say no to clients who can't afford your accounting services, and the 3 steps with an added bonus step in there on really how to not only cut it off as soon as possible, but really be honest and transparent with your clients who also you might be turning away. But ultimately, we don't burn a bridge, and we want to refer people out to really great people and keep the great, good sales karma going to have that firm and life of abundance that we're each looking for. If you have a quick second, please leave us a rating and a review on iTunes and subscribe to the show. We always like hearing from you. And one last thing before I let you go. If you have ever felt like you give away too much information for free, or you are tired of not getting paid what you're worth, then you're probably like many accountants and CPAs that we've worked with, and you may feel like you're on a cash flow roller coaster. We have the solution for you. Join us for our Accountants Masterclass at theabundantaccountant.com to learn how to communicate your value, collect higher fees with confidence, and be paid what you're worth so you can work less and make more money. Once again, visit theabundantaccountant.com. We would love to see you there. Thank you so much for listening and have an amazing day.